Well, a couple of years ago, my father got sick and my mother, we never wanted to use the name Sampson. Always Winter Circle was always a company that you could kind of hide under, right? And then my mother said, well, don't you just use the name and create what you want and put everything that you do into one company. So we went from having different companies to all of them in one, or at least verticals in one. And they are like hospitality and restaurants and coffee and stuff like that. We have media, what we do, we are producing a Down on the Farm at Ralph Sampson with HGTV. That'll go there, but it's going to renovate the family farm that's 100 years old. And so my mother's 87, and I want her to see that farm in their glory before she leaves this world. But that's a passion project, but also a project. And then, from the media, and then we have a couple other things that we do. We incubate companies. Partner of mine, Jeff Johnson, does that. And then the exciting things that we do, we just find deals, and then we'll create our own fund. So, the venture world is crazy to me, and I like to say, okay, great, I played in that, but I didn't like it. And so we have a strategic way to do our own and either build companies within or partner with people that want to be in our incubator, and we grow them out of there.
So now tell me, how did your basketball career shape your approach to business and leadership?
It comes from upbringing, my mom and dad, work ethic, this and that. So I look at all that growing up, having to do farm work and have to bale hay and do stuff at a young age. So the work ethic was there, right, from the beginning. And so sports just kind of molds you in a way where you are regimented very strictly due to practice, eating, sleeping, games, travel. And you don't have to do anything about it, don't have to think about it, somebody just does it for you, right? And you show up. But then you stop playing, and then you retire, and then you have to do other things. So you can take those same principles and apply them to the business world, tweak it a little bit, because what happens in the business world that you might get a phone call, or you might get an email or text, and you might say, this time I want to do this, and then you get distracted. And then you put that on hold and do something else. And at the end of the day, you don't complete what you want to complete, right? So I'm very regimented that way. I learned that over the years. So if I'm focused on something, let me spend my time, that call can wait. Unless it's an emergency from kid or mom or sister to their body, that call can wait. And so I wake up, do what I got to do, take my time to do it. And I'm not that way 100% all the time, but my principles are if I'm 80% better than anybody else, then I might be all right.
Now tell me, how do the principles of athletic success apply to business and IPOs?
So there's 4 or 5 things I talk about all the time. Is a work ethic. Taking the company to IPO is tough, right? It's like a 12 to 18 month period of time. You may have the best thing out there, but it's still 24/7, 365 for 12 to 18 months to get to that level, to be successful. So the work ethic has to be there. And in a company IPO, you have to have the team to get you there. So building that team from within or without, and the team got to be on the same page, right? If you're not, you have one weak link, then you're going to suffer a little bit. So building that camaraderie, work ethic, culture, discipline, and really a resilience to be successful, because it's tough. I don't care if it's a small business to an IPO business, it's tough to do, and then to maintain it. You have to have all the pieces in place to maintain it. So there's 4 or 5 principles I use in sports that I use in business, but also can use to take companies forward.
Finally, Ralph, tell me, what's your top advice for leaders looking to scale and go public?
You might have the best thing out there, but you have to stay focused and determined, because some days, right, it's not going to go the way you want. And then after you work, and then 2 weeks later, everything starts to happen. But you're not quite ready for that because you got in this little slump. It's like a basketball shooting slump. I have to go back to my game. I start with the basic principles, or I get away from it for a day and I come back stronger than I was. So I can use those same basketball principles of being in the slump to where you go IPO, where all of a sudden, boom, you hit it, but then you gotta be ready for that piece. And then that's like winning the championship. And then what are you gonna do next year? How you gonna build that dynasty later? Because 1 year is not good enough. You gotta do it multiple years. So you gotta set yourself up for success from the beginning, and then you'll be successful all the way around.
Ralph, that's great advice. Thank you for joining me on Floor Talk today. It's been wonderful to talk with you.
Thank you so much. Good to see you.